Hello to my beautiful girlies and welcome to the Growth For Girlies podcast. You have just tapped into a space where mindset meets action, where we shed the old stories, activate our highest self, and step into the life we were always meant to live. But girlies, this is not just another mindset shifting podcast. This is a behavior shifting podcast. Here, we'll not only get into your limiting beliefs, but actually give you the tools and action steps you need to do to overcome and rewrite those beliefs. I'm your host, Alicia Tghlian, mindset coach, behavior consultant with a master's in behavior science. Using this knowledge, I'm going to get you to that exciting yet grounded place of expansion and growth. Each week, we dive into powerful topics that will leave you with that energetic download that you're going to need to get to your next step of alignment. So, take the deepest breath you've taken all day today and allow me to grant you with your weekly dose of growth and expansion. This is Growth for Girlies.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Growth for Girlies podcast. My name's Alicia Tghlian, and today we're going to dive right into our topic of addiction to other people, okay? When you feel like you're being really obsessive or you're just constantly thinking about someone, that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about how to actually shift out of that constant need for someone else's attention. So we're going to start off by talking about our self-concept, okay? And why this is so important as to how much information and how much energy we give other people. So our self-concept in full is the relationship that we have with ourselves. So if your identity and the relationship that you have with yourself is not in full check, like you're not in full check with your values, you're not constantly, taking care of your body, like what you're eating or what you're, how much exercise you're doing, if you're doing any at all. If you're in a career that you enjoy, if you're doing things that you actually love and value in your life, if you're not doing those things, then you're definitely going to have a less prominent and less strong self-concept, okay? And this is, again, super important for when you have other people around you, especially a relationship or a situationship, because then if you're not focusing on yourself, you're going to naturally just step into someone else and focus on them, okay? And when you're doing this, your identity is going to start shifting into, feeling like you have to prove something to someone else because you're not proving something to yourself and you're not giving yourself that attention. So you're going to try to, get all the attention. You're trying to fill the void in yourself that you're not feeling with someone else's energy. And that is, a recipe for disaster, honestly, because that will never happen. Nobody can ever fill your cup if you are not filling your own cup because it's just not possible. It's just not energetically possible for you or them. And it places them in a very difficult situation, you in a very difficult situation. And it just will never happen safely and healthily in a relationship. So the thing that goes on with this and the reason why, our old self-concept is definitely keeping us hooked and why you're still, not able to step up into the best version of you and why you're so obsessed with someone else is because of the neurotransmitters going on in your brain. Previously, maybe if you were in a relationship or even through your childhood, every time you got attention from parents, positive attention, your dopamine levels will spike. And this is a neurochemical associated with a feel-good feeling, so when this happens, then you feel good, you feel loved, you feel chosen. But maybe in the past, you had a parent that would only sometimes give you attention, and it may not be the best kind of attention. Right? So that's why whether or not someone else gives you positive or negative attention, you still seek after it and you still try to get that pattern associated and you still try to chase that pattern, even if you know they're not the right person for you logically, because you're just trying to chase what feels familiar and you're just trying to chase a spike and a neurochemical and a neural release that, may not even be good for you and may not be the best for you. So to change your boundaries in love, you don't only need to set new boundaries with the people, you actually need to set a new self and create a new version of you completely. Okay, so if you're not constantly taking care of who you are and you don't really know what you value and what you care about and what your beliefs are coming from, then you're going to naturally flow into other people. So the really important part with all of this is that to change your love patterns, you do not only need to set new boundaries, but you have to actually become a new version of yourself. Okay, because you cannot operate out of the version that you are that is still constantly seeking for approval and trying to fill their own cup. You have to actually step into the better version of yourself, be more stable, be more grounded. And once you do this, then you can actually have a more secure attachment style and not be so obsessive over people. And trust me, guys, I've been there. I've experienced this before. So I remember honestly once when I was going through a very difficult time in my life, right before I made Growth for Girlies, because when there's a low, there's a high. I was trying to seek attention from the person I was dating. And that was because I was not taking care of my values and the things that I cared about. So what I care about and what I did care about at the time was starting a business, freedom. I love freedom. I love being able to do what I want when I want with my time. And being able to, just decide on things for myself without being told what to do. And then the other thing was health, right? So I really just I feel like I need to exercise. And if I don't, I just end up not in a good place. And it's really because I do value exercise and all that it does for me and all that it makes me feel. And just being able to do something that I can physically see progression in. So because I wasn't doing these two things, didn't know at the time, but I was relying on my partner at the time to give me that much, love and attention that would fill the void of me not being aligned with my values. And obviously that did not work out very well, because that's not possible. And then this person also expected the same from me for their values. So it was very codependent, and this is definitely what we end up falling into. If both people are not, taking care of themselves and being their own independent people, then you're going to try to rely on each other to take care of each other's needs. And you can't do that because no one's cup is full. So you're just going to end up spiraling and not being in a good place either way. So it's super important to realize what your values are, what you care about. So if you need any help with actually rewiring your old belief systems or actually knowing what your values are going to be and what your values are, I honestly recommend checking out my free energy shifting guide in the description below. So with this, you can actually figure out where your belief systems come from, how you could step them into the best version of themselves, and then also how you could step into your best version. So if you want that, feel free to grab that, and let's get into the next part of this video. So something that's really important with actually breaking free from obsession and anxiety over other people is rewiring your brain and rewiring where you're at. Okay, because this starts with your belief systems. So if you don't know what exactly your belief systems are, or you don't know exactly what you're feeling or thinking or why you are feeling and thinking these things, it's super important to just take some time and do this. And you can do this in the free workbook I mentioned previously. And it's just really good to actually know your beliefs, shift them into the ones that you want them to shift into, and then take actionable steps towards that, right? So if you find that you have beliefs around money that you're not a fan of, or beliefs around love that you're not a fan of, then first you can identify the belief, then you can pick a new belief you want to instill, reaffirm that constantly through repetition, and then also you can incorporate different behaviors that will align you with that belief. So for example, if you feel like you're not worthy of love, right, you can actually journal every single day. You can write out 10 reasons why you are worthy of love, or 10 reasons why other people can love you and do love you, right? You can either write out 5 people that care about you or 2 people that care about you. So it's really important to look for the actual proof in your life that these beliefs that you have are not actually true. And finally, to stop obsessing with someone, it is super important to regulate your nervous system and to make sure your body is in a stable and relaxed place generally as much as you can, right? So peace is going to actually be your new standard, and it's important to always choose your own peace and your own stability over any relationship, over any other person. Okay. And if you don't feel at peace, then you have to bring something up potentially and have a conversation, or B, you have to reevaluate, what you're going through and the person that you're with and whether or not that makes sense for you. So a few things that you could do to actually maintain your sense of peace while you are rewiring your old belief patterns is to do something like breath work, right? So breath work instantly will, channel down and settle down your nervous system automatically. So you can find, like a 10-minute breath work and actually just do that. And that will significantly help your nervous system by changing your breath and changing your heart rate as well in that moment. You can also do things like meditations that will help relax you and instill the new belief, especially when you're feeling anxious. So you can do something like an inner child meditation, or you can do something like a heart chakra healing meditation. And if you want those free meditations, I have them for you guys as well on my YouTube channels. You could check them out, and they're also in the description below. And then something else that you can do that's actually going to help you anchor and stabilize is actually, movement and going outside. Because a lot of the times, like if I'm ever feeling anxious or worried or upset about something and I find myself in a spiral, or I find myself, perseverating over something, I literally just ask myself, I'm like, have I gone outside today? No? Then okay. Then I literally will give zero credit to my anxiety, zero credit to my obsession, go outside, go for a 30-minute walk, come back, and then revisit, what actually happened. B, if I didn't work out that day, I get no mercy. That's it. So if I'm in an anxious spiral about something and I realize like, hey, you know what? Like I literally didn't work out today. I didn't work out yesterday. That's probably why I have so much energy in my brain right now. That's probably why so many things are spiraling right now, because I'm feeling anxious for no other reason than, my body's anxious. My body has a lot of energy that it hasn't, stored, and it hasn't healthily worked through. So then I'll go for a workout, and honestly, like 9.5 times out of 10, I will feel a lot better and come back with more clarity and more peace over the situation. And a lot of time I'll realize, like, first of all, it may not even matter what was going on. It was very silly on my end, probably. Or another possibility and another probability is that I would be able to actually work on that thing and communicate that thing, or, step into that from a more grounded place rather than a place of just anxiety and spiral. Because when you're feeling that, I 0 out of 10 recommend for you to actually, bring something up if you're feeling 10 out of 10 anxiety in that moment, right? It's very important to take a step back and really evaluate what's happening in your mind, and then stepping forward if you feel it's right and if you feel it makes sense from a very grounded and stable approach. So in conclusion, this is not just about the obsessive and anxiety. It's actually about developing your self-concept and stepping into the best version of you. Okay. And if you guys like this podcast, I would honestly love if you were to rate it below and leave a comment if you liked as well. And if you want to follow me on socials, you can check me out at Growth For Girlies on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Talk to you soon. This is Alicia from Growth For Girlies. Bye.